Yorkshire captain Andrew Gale continued his magnificent recent form by compiling his third 100 in his last 3 LV County Championship innings, the latest coming on an opening day against Surrey at Headingley Carnegie, one which was mostly dominated by the home side's batsmen. Vikram Solanki won the toss and decided to have a bowl first, and this was the reason for that. That decision, though, would have disappointed all of those who were hoping to see Kevin Peterson at the crease. He was making his county comeback after missing a large portion of cricket through injury. Instead, it was left to the current LV County Championship leaders to have a go with the bat first, as they once more looked to bat an opposition into submission after getting through 1 or 2 troubling moments early on. To that end, both Adam Lyth and Alex Lees made a solid start as they opened up with a partnership of 62. And that was a good effort because this surface was still offering the bowler something. Xander de Bruyne is not the quickest, yet he nearly knocked Lyth off his feet. A bit of extra bounce from Chris Tramlett put paid to that opening stand. Lyth only able to deflect this short ball to Solanki to depart for 41. De Bruyne then fired one in to trap Lees in front for 15. And Joe Sayers then edged Tim Lindley to De Bruyne as Yorkshire let their good start slip. All 3 wickets had fallen in 9 overs for the addition of only 15 runs. So that left the championship leaders on 77 for 3, only for their skipper to come in and look very good once again. Ever since he smashed 272 against Nottinghamshire in Scarborough a couple of weeks back, and then he was in after 3 wickets fell cheaply, Gale has not looked back. That was his first 100 for 2 years, and he followed it up with another in his side's next match against Middlesex at Lord's. It's incredible what a difference one innings can make to a man's spirit. Gale is now batting with a lot of confidence, as these shots testify. Lindley took a stunning return catch recently, and he nearly grabbed another one to remove Gary Balance before he did too much damage. It was a very tough chance, but a miss which Yorkshire took full advantage of. Balance, of course, was celebrating his call-up into the England squad for next week's 2 T20 games with New Zealand. He leaves to join the camp on Saturday. His selection just about shows where Yorkshire are right now as a county, with Balance joining the likes of Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow and Tim Bresnan in the England setup. On this evidence, Balance deserves his chance. Now seemingly scoring runs for fun, Gale was halfway to yet another century when he drove Peterson through the covers for 3 runs. At one point, not so long ago, it looked as if Gale was in for a season similar to last year, when he amassed only 481 championship runs. He was now beyond 600 for the season with this latest 50, his second to add to his 200s, occupying 77 balls, 6 of which have brought him boundaries. And more followed as these two again started to impose themselves on an opposition. Balance missed that win at Lord's, so the last time these two batted together, they put on an amazing 297 runs for the 5th wicket in that match with Notts. They clearly enjoy each other's company at the crease. Once more, their partnership was into 3 figures by the time that Balance drove John Lewis through the covers to bring up the runs he required to add another 50 to the 141 runs he made last time out against Notts. This was another very good knock by a player who's getting better and better with each season. He's an unfussy player who simply goes about his business. That business this time brought him his half-century off 160 liveries, with 6 fours included. By now, Gale was into the 80s, and before too long he'd become the 2nd Yorkshire player this summer to score a hat-trick of hundreds. That's 3 tons in back-to-back-to-back innings. 272 had been followed by 103, and now another magic number was on the board. What's more, this one had taken only 137 balls to reach. Gale, like Adil Rashid, who's also done the hat-trick of tons this year, is in the form of his life right now. The big double 100 had come on a feather bed in Scarborough, but the same cannot be said about the Lord's pitch, nor this one, which still, occasionally, offer the bowler something. The next thing on the billing appeared to be a second 100 in 2 innings for Balance. For the 2nd time running, this pair took their partnership into the 200s. But then, with just half an hour of the day to go, Balance, 10 short of his century, was beaten by some in-swing from Lewis to be LBW to the 2nd new ball. Lewis hardly had a sniff of the first team this summer under the now-sacked coach Chris Adams, And so that was his first wicket of the campaign, one that was soon followed by another as he also had Rashid caught by Solanke in his next over. That meant that Surrey went to bed a little happier than they might have been after a hard day in the field. Those late Lewis wickets had reduced Yorkshire to 292 for 5, but with Gale still there on 114, they will hope to add plenty more to that yet before we get a view of Peterson for the first time this summer.